I am fired up. Mike Gundy wore a T-shirt on a fishing trip. Mike Gundy is the head coach of Oklahoma State football, in case you didn't know, the Cowboys. He went out with his son on a fishing trip, posed for a photo alongside all of the fish that they had caught, and he was wearing an OAN T-shirt. That's the One America Network. It's a conservative television network that is highly supportive of President Donald Trump. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't watch much news on television because I think it's all slanted, and I think it's because it's all fear porn. Whether you're talking about Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, or I would bet OAN. I have never watched anything on OAN before. But the man has a right to support whatever media organizations he wants to support on a fishing trip. It isn't a big deal what T-shirt Mike Gundy has got on right now. Well, one of his players, Chuba Hubbard, who is a really good offensive playmaker, went on Twitter and basically said he was outraged by what he saw. I read an article yesterday in the Wall Street Journal, which makes so much sense. I read it and I was like, my God, this is incredible. It basically compared our telephones to pacifiers. We are all a bunch of big babies walking around with our pacifiers, and we take out our phones and we talk about our feelings all the time. You know what? I have played sports my entire life. Now I'm getting old and I got 3 kids and my kids are playing sports. I have coached my kids' sports. Other than me as a coach, do you know how many times I have either known or cared about any coach, either that coached me or coached my kids, about their politics? Never. Never in my entire life could I tell you how I believed a coach of mine voted for president or senate or governor. I don't ever remember them talking about it. I don't ever remember it impacting the way that they coached me. The only thing I care about when it comes to a coach is this question: are they good at coaching or not? That's the entirety of it. This idea that we live in right now of this cancel culture era, where if somebody does something that upsets you the least amount, you get on social media and you immediately whine about it, is not the way that men should behave. All right? Men, grown men, if you have an issue with someone else, you should talk about it to them face to face. You shouldn't pull out your pacifier and get on and have an emotional breakdown where you are throwing out accusations for the public. Because of these emotional pacifiers, people are not behaving like adults. Sit down, face to face, discuss things. Moreover, you shouldn't get upset over a T-shirt. I feel like in many ways, and sports has become a big part of it, we are teaching kids that all that matters is their feelings. That's exactly wrong. I've been on this for 20 years now. I'm not responsible for how you feel. That's not my thing. That is your responsibility. You need to learn how to control your emotions as a grown-ass man and not feel the need to throw temper tantrums on your phone because of something else that a grown-ass man does. If you truly have an issue with something, then go ahead and have a face-to-face conversation. I don't know Mike Gundy. I've never met him. He's been very good for Oklahoma State relative to their past football successes. But let me tell you something. The man has a right to his political opinions. If he loves OAN or MSNBC or CNN or Fox News, more power to him. If he loves the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, more power to him. If he's listening right now to OutKick and he's out on a jog right now, Coach, you have great taste when it comes to the sports talk radio that you listen to. We'll send you an OutKick shirt. If he loves Donald Trump and he wants to rock around the house in a Make America Great Again hat, more power to him. Or if he's a huge Biden bro or a Bernie bro or whatever the heck he is, that's his right as a citizen. This whole cancel culture absurdity is mind-blowingly stupid, and the fact that it's taken over sports is even worse. Because sports is the ultimate no feelings zone. You don't get to change a scoreboard because of how it makes you feel. Well, we lost 70-3, but it makes me feel bad that we lost by 67, so we changed the scoreboard and took off the 0, and we only lost 7-3. That ain't how it works. If you get your ass kicked, you wear it. You work harder, you get better. Oh, somebody wore a T-shirt and it upset me and it makes my feelings hurt. Grow up. And the worst thing is, all you losers out there on social media are enabling this behavior. Oh, I'm going to go like this. Oh, good for him for standing up. For standing up against a T-shirt from a news organization? Is that really what we want to teach grown adults to do? To be perpetually triggered by the opinions of other people? Newsflash. When you go to college, you don't get to pick what everybody else believes. It isn't a sign of maturity for you to say, hey, only my opinion is allowed here. The entire purpose of college, so far as I remember it 20 years ago when I was on a campus, is to go somewhere and experience ideas and thoughts that you might not otherwise have the time or luxury of experiencing elsewhere, and by challenging your own beliefs, determine what you actually believe. We used to have something called tolerance, and it used to be established by everyone, and it meant that we could all coexist even though we don't all have the exact same opinion. The idea that some people wanted to fire Mike Gundy because he wore a flippin' OAN T-shirt is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my entire life as a sports fan. And by the way, nobody cares. Nobody in real life cares about what T-shirt you wear to support a news organization. And oh, by the way, he was on a fishing trip with his son. Have you ever been on a fishing trip? Do you wear your finest T-shirt on the fishing trip? Are you like, this is my favorite T-shirt in the whole wide world. Let me go ahead and put it on while I'm on a fishing boat all day so I get fish guts all over it and so I spill stuff all over it? No. Usually, if you go fishing, you wear a T-shirt that you don't mind getting dirty. Not, by the way, your finest. He wasn't in a tuxedo. But the thing is, social media has broken and is breaking this country. I asked you last night, if your team's coach wins games, do you care about his political opinions? Nearly 70,000 of you have voted. 80% of you said you don't care at all. You don't care about your coach's political opinions if he wins. Twitter cares about a coach's political opinions. Guess what? Only 2% of the American population ever tweets. That's 1 in every 50 people you see anywhere. This pacifier that everybody carries around in their pocket, that they're constantly coming out and putting in their mouth and sucking on like it's a binky. My kids, when they were young, they had pacifiers and they carried around blankets. Your phone has become a pacifier. And the 1 in 50 people in America who are obsessively tweeting all day long, we are giving way too much attention to because they're a bunch of losers and imbeciles who aren't reflective of the general population. This Mike Gundy case, to me, is a major breaking point when it comes to cancel culture. If every coach in America has to worry about what T-shirt he wears on a flippin' fishing trip, God forbid if Mike Gundy had Donald Trump shirt on. Even though, by the way, the vast majority of Oklahoma State Cowboy fans voted for Donald Trump. God forbid Mike Gundy show up at Donald Trump's rally in October. What people don't understand about cancel culture is it's ultimately a sham victory. You may win the battle, but you're losing the war, because when you come after somebody like Mike Gundy, you encourage tens of thousands of people to vote for Donald Trump when they walk into the quiet of the voting booth. And they sit there and they think, wow, I have to vote for Donald Trump, not because I enjoy or even agree with a lot of what he says, but because cancel culture stupidity is running so rampant. I have to make sure that it's not me on a fishing trip getting canceled for something I wore. I got an old Dukes of Hazzard t-shirt. If I put it on, some people are going to be fired up. They're not going to cancel me because my audience is too big. Wear it, losers. But there are a ton of people out there in sports media who agree with everything that I say. They constantly are sending me message saying, keep it up. They know they might get fired if they come out in favor of Mike Gundy. There is a huge majority, I just told you, 70,000 people voting, who don't give a damn about Mike Gundy's T-shirt, and we're allowing a tiny subset of the population to dictate the national conversations that we are having. I'm fed up with it. It's insane.